Yeah.
So Monday, Modern Agent Mastermind. It's good stuff. Cody was just sharing an interesting experience he had with, and what I was going to get into is how all of this really came about because of how you came from a place of contribution, really trying to help a for sale by owner get some exposure on her house. Is that right, Cody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened? Tell us the story.
Yeah. So there was this lady who rented or posted her house for rent and reached out to her. And turns out she was a tired landlord and actually wanted to sell. And was just realizing it was not for her, even though she just bought the place. So we'd pursued some sales options. And then she asked me if I would post it to Facebook for her to the real estate investor group here in Denver. And so I posted it to actually just realtor groups, believe it or not, offering a commission to buyers agents, and I wasn't going to get paid. There was no skin in the deal for me. There's no room to get paid. So I put out a Facebook post with some basic information about the property. Happened to be a duplex on Airbnb, sought after product. And I said, reach out to me if there's interest. You get a full 3% buyer's agent commission. If you sell the house, I'm not even part of the deal. And so I posted it out there and got a bunch of responses. And one of the realtors in the group reported me to, actually, they did report me to Dora, to our managing brokers, and they reported me to the MLS for promoting a listing without being in the MLS, trying to double side the deal, which I was not even a part of, just helping this lady out. And so then I forwarded her the email and said, hey, so I did as you requested. I posted this to Facebook and someone reported me. I'm going to get hit with a pretty big fine if we don't have an agreement by the end of the day today. And so she ended up signing a full 6% listing agreement with me to sign this property and sell it on the MLS, which it did. It sold in 5 days. And it's been a nightmare of a transaction for her and for a lot of it, for pretty much everyone involved. But we'll end up getting paid nearly a full 3% commission, even after helping her out with a few things along the way. She's not netting any money in the sale, not $1. And all the realtors are getting paid, but for doing a really good job, I would say. There's like 25 amendments in this contract and a whole lot of changes. She's just thrilled that it's closing and that it was able to actually happen. Otherwise, she would have lost a lot of money. So in this case, we could help someone out. But yeah, kind of weird how it came back around and turned out just a good deed trying to post on Facebook for her, and that turned into a transaction. And everyone gained lots of experience on this one, I'll say. And she is no longer wanting to be a landlord.
Yeah, that's great. It's unfortunate that there's, I mean, my guess is that somebody doesn't like you to report you for whatever reason. And sometimes it comes from jealousy. It also comes from like, oh, wait a minute, you can't do that type of thing. And I think that's a good thing for you guys to understand is like, Cody, you pushed, I don't want to say push the boundaries by any means.
I actually didn't quite understand the rule, being that I didn't have an agreement with her. I wasn't even part of the transaction. I was just trying to connect people.
There wasn't any transaction to be a part of anyways.
Yeah, there was nothing to be a
All it
part of.
was a lady trying to sell her house for sale by owner. You went to her and she was like, could you post this on Facebook, get some exposure for me, which you did. I don't see anything wrong with that. What happened was somebody saying, hey, look, he's advertising a property that he doesn't have listed. Yep. And the MLS goes, well, shoot, if you're going to advertise a property, you have to have it listed. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if I'm pretty sure you didn't do this purposefully, but you guys, if you're watching now or you're watching the recording, follow the breadcrumbs here. Now, all of a sudden it's, hey, Mrs. For Sale by Owner, I did what you wanted me to do. We got your property out there, Facebook, this and that. However, we can't do that unless we have a listing agreement. And I want to keep doing that. And I think so in other words, this could be a technique to pick up for sale by owners.
If any of them say no and don't get a listing agreement, you get $1,000 fine. So it'd be very expensively, Jen.
Yeah, but I don't know,
even if you remove it, it's still $1,000 fine. They said if you don't send us a signed listing agreement in the next 24 hours after this post, which is time stamped, you'll get $1,000 fine on your account.
Hey Cody, I'm curious, what specific rule are they citing that you failed to observe with that?
The clear cooperation
The
policy.
attorney comes in. I like it. Let's figure this out. I think there's a
It's
solution.
the clear cooperation policy that went into place, I believe, in 2022. Part of it states that you can't advertise properties that you don't have a listing agreement to. So that eliminated most all pocket listings that people were trying to promote and double side, which is how, a lot of brokerages will do it in house. I won't name any names here since we're on recording, but there's a lot of brokerages, which is pretty normal. It's normal practice at weekly or monthly meetings. They'll go through all their listings, and then if someone in house has a buyer, they'll try and put them together and keep both in house for the brokerage. But a lot of agents will extend that in the wrong direction, and will try and get a one of those clients that says, if you bring me an offer for X, Y, and Z, then the listing's yours. I won't list it for sale, but if you bring me a buyer, there's like a lot of different objections that you'll get from sellers that are difficult for most agents to overcome. And a lot of times that leads to them trying to advertise the property on Facebook somewhere in some Facebook group, whether it's a realtor group or not, depending on what the seller said for paying commissions, that they have a house that the seller will sell and for this much money. And so then that agent's typically, in most cases, trying to double side it and get paid twice. But what they're not doing is protecting the public, which is our whole job, right? By putting that property publicly in the MLS, which gives everyone equal opportunity to offer on it and to market it. So in my case, I listed it only to realtors, to actually probably 15,000 Denver realtors that it went to. Not to the public, in fact. Never circumvented that, but it didn't matter because it didn't go to the whole MLS, which you agree to with your association with the MLS. You blanket agree to all their silly rules.
So it's more than just like the 24 hours. It's got to be up after like putting a yard sign in or whatever. It's actually a listing agreement. Where's the key there?
So within 24 hours of having any public facing advertising, so a sign in the yard, even if it says coming soon, putting a photo of the property up, it automatically indicates that you're marketing it. Saying that I have a property in a specific city, so city is an indicator. You can't indicate city. There's certain criteria that start the process, but like city, pictures, definitely an address, any identifying criteria like that will start the 24-hour clock. So you can't put in a coming soon sign a week ahead of time unless it's actually in coming soon status within 24 hours. So you could have it within incoming soon status. It just has to be publicly posted in the MLS, either active or coming soon, within 24 hours of any public facing activity. So you could post it to EXP Workplace in our case and be exempt because that's an internal workplace. But if you post it to Facebook, you could send it to your database. So that would be fine. That's internal as well. But once it leaves your database or your brokerage.
So that's Cody, you're saying that's one of the MLS rules?
That's clear cooperation policy through the MLS.
Okay.
And they act as their own.
So were they saying too that is that only applying if you're like sort of portraying it as if you have it for sale? Or is that if you just put anything, like let's say, I mean, going to where you ask somebody that has a house listed, another agent, if you can do a video and at their listing, that does not fall into that?
No, that doesn't fall under, which I do 5 to 10 of those a day, perfectly fine under the rules, the MLS and the real estate commission, because those are publicly listed. The seller has given their permission. You followed all the rules of the real estate commission with your contract, hopefully that the other agent has, I guess, and they posted it publicly to the MLS, and then you're getting access through the MLS to then go and post it on, like in my case, I post 5 to 10 properties a day to Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, but it also includes listed by this agent at this brokerage with their phone number attached to it on my ad. So they might be getting some of the calls, but we're doing it. That's fully approved. You're like compliant through the clear cooperation policy and through the real estate commission. And you have to get those in writing too, the permission.
Lessons learned, huh, Cody?
Yes, and in fact, I'm a stickler for these rules almost always, except for this one time, which got me a listing. But I did get reported for listing someone else's property in an ad recently. When I was up skiing, I got some very nasty text messages. They reported me in writing to the real estate commission, to our managing brokers, directly to both of them,
We're doing
and
what?
for advertising their property without their consent.
Oh, well.
And fortunately for me, I follow the rules and I get everything in writing. And I sent them a screenshot of them approving it in writing.
Okay, okay, well, first of all, that, and there's two things there too.
Yeah.
One, that's the right way to do it.
Mhm.
Like, I'm doing this to help you. And that's what Wes was alluding to. Is that the same
Yeah.
thing? And you're getting their permission. Under the actual rules, you don't have to. The
You do
MLS,
not.
like, you don't have to, because it says it's the brokerage's listing, and any agent can advertise the brokerage's listing. It's in good faith and it's proper etiquette and practice to get those agents permission. And a managing broker, I'm sure if they had the conversation with you, Cody, they were like, yeah, don't do that unless you have their permission.
The rules were updated.
Oh, really?
You must put their contact information now. And that in Colorado is one of the last states to adopt that.
To adopt what? Explain that.
So previously, we didn't need to put their contact information as long as we got their permission and we didn't make it look like it was our listing.
No, you don't make it look like your listing. It's still theirs. You give them all the credit and everything, but you don't have to get their permission, is my point. They don't have to. You do now?
You do have to get written permission
From the listing agent that allows you.
agent.
Yeah. Oh, even within the same brokerage.
I don't know about the same brokerage, but we don't look at who's at what brokerage. We just go through the MLS and find properties we want.
Right, but okay, gotcha. We're talking two different things here. Internally with EXP, if it's an EXP brokerage listing, anybody can go market it. You don't have to get permission. So what you were referring to are non-EXP agents and or combination. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, totally, 100%.
And some brokerages have rules that you can't just blank, like Sotheby's or Lip Sotheby's.
Sure. Okay, didn't know that.
Orchard, any of the like online brokerages won't allow you to advertise their listings in any capacity. No videos, no posted pictures. Even if it's all their information, you're just posting on a third-party website that's not syndicated to. You still can't do it.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, creative stuff. That's cool.
Even EXP has the policy that like no one else can hold our listings open technically if you're to follow the rules, and I believe that's also that we're not supposed to hold open other brokerages, agents, open houses either. Now it gets broken every day.
Yeah, and we find these things out along the way. Anything from like it's ill-advised to you're getting $1,000 fine. Like, oh, okay. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic, and I appreciate the fact that you did what you did. And now when you agree that in looking back, you're like, dang, man, I learned a lot of stuff about the rules, the regulations, like not from the standpoint of trying to manipulate them, but like, holy crap, I had an experience where these are the things that happen. Stories.
Yeah.
So think of how you can effectively tell that story. I mean, you're doing video. That's a 60-second video right there.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I preach the CRMs too, is because you never want to be sitting in front of an attorney and not be able to give them what they're requesting, right? Whereas the CRM, I do everything in it. It logs every bit of communication, writing, and all my phone calls are recorded in it as well.
Sure.
So same thing with, in this case, someone came after me, which could have been a bigger deal than it was. And everything was done according to a system, which included putting it in writing because that's what the rules required. And it was very easy from a chairlift skiing to send back a, yes, you did give permission.
Yeah.
After it had already been submitted to the managing brokers, and the real estate commission did, in fact, first thing Monday morning, reach out to both of our managing brokers, to which they replied with my screenshot. And I never heard about it again.
There you go. Good stuff. Sometimes you got to rattle the cage a little bit. Obviously, you never want to have somebody thinking ill of you, and yet at the
Yeah,
same
no,
time, you didn't maliciously do anything wrong, Cody. So
no, maliciously came after me, but all of their messages were forwarded to their managing broker for them to deal with about how they treat other agents that are following the rules.
yeah.